So let's bring in someone who understands the power of this, the concern, and the urgency. Alan Dershowitz, esteemed legal scholar who has written extensively on the American Jewish experience, also the author of The Price of Principle. Professor, thank you for joining us.
Well, first of all, congratulations, Chris, on your new show. You've done a great job. And by the way, your Hebrew is pretty good, so mazel tov.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And look, I've leaned on you over the years for these understandings. When you heard what he had been putting out and it going relatively unchecked, your response and your concern?
My response was that it's symptomatic of a larger problem. And what he said in public, many people are saying in private, it's coming a lot from the white supremacy hard right, but it's also coming in part from the hard left. They disguise it as anti-Zionism. Berkeley Law School has prevented 9 clubs from allowing, or Berkeley, the clubs have decided not to allow Zionist speakers. They allow people from China, from Iran, from anywhere else, but not Zionists. So we're seeing it from extremes on both sides, but it's very, very important for you to call him out on it. And it's important also not to demonize him, because he represents a very large number of people who are saying these kinds of things in bars and among themselves. And it's important to bring it out to the public so we can understand what a lie it is. Jews don't control the media. Jews don't control the contracts of African-American entertainers. And if there are individual Jews who have done that, it's because they worked hard and because they've shown their ability to get good contracts for people. But the stereotype has to be exposed, and you did a great job of doing it.
Now, the pushback becomes, come on, the Jews are fine. This is America. They've done so well. They're so upwardly mobile. They are in lots of positions of power. They're okay. Let's worry about other people who are much less protected. What's your response?
Well, first of all, there are a lot of poor Jews, a lot of vulnerable Jews. When your father was governor, he understood the complexity of the Jewish community, and you can't stereotype it. Not everybody in the Jewish community has succeeded. We're seeing tremendous increases, not only in anti-Semitic acts, but anti-Semitic attitudes, and it's coming from young people, and young people are our future. And when, there's bigotry against any group, it just permits bigotry against every group. When I was growing up, there was the same bigotry against Jews as against Italian Americans and Irish Americans. Harvard University had quotas for all of the immigrant groups. And it's so important for us to work together and to understand, not just to condemn, but to understand the roots and the sources of the kind of anti-Semitism that you expose brilliantly on your show.
Nobody needs to talk to you about the confluence of law and speech. But what is your concern about people kind of fanning the flames of this fringe mentality that's coming out from him and other sources and be like, oh, it's his right. I'm not going to test him. It's his right. It's his right to say it. It's his free speech right. What's your concern?
Well, I defended the rights of Nazis and communists, but they were wrong to say what they said. And it's so important to understand that these are fringe people that are moving closer and closer to the mainstream. And it's so important to keep them fringe and keep them out of the mainstream and make sure that they don't have influence on young people. What worries me so much about a great entertainer expressing those kinds of views is that people listen not only to his entertainment, but they listen to his political views as well. And that could have an influence on young people that is hard to combat.
Now, the game will insist that what I'm about to say will be twisted to mean that everybody on Fox is anti-Semitic, which obviously, I don't believe. I have good friends there. But when he did the issue, when this guy did the interview with Carlson, and he got a pass just to kind of fulminate on whatever he wanted to do, I don't believe it's a coincidence. That those are the kinds of things that go well with the kind of nationalism that's being peddled there. And I don't think that Ye knows that that's how he's being played. I'm not even sure that, he would be part of that. But that's what I think is going on, because white nationalism and anti-Semitism often go hand in hand.
Yeah, but you put your finger on an even bigger problem. We're such a partisan and divided country today that if you associate with the right, as he does, he'll give you a pass. If you're Ilhan Omar and you associate with the left wing of the Democratic Party, Speaker Pelosi gives her a pass. Both sides are prepared to give passes to people who are on their side in general. And it's much more important for people on one side to attack the people on that side.
Yes.
My big criticism of President Trump in Charlottesville is, yeah, he condemned the Nazis, he condemned the extremists, but because he's a person of the right and a Republican, he has a special obligation to be much harder on the anti-Semitism of the right, just like people on the hard left have a special obligation to go after the anti-Semitism on the left. And, you know, that's why I, as a person of generally liberal and democratic credentials, spend as much time on the hard left anti-Semitism as I do on the hard right. But nobody should get a pass, and neither side should embrace people whose views are racist and bigoted. Too many people do.
It's got to be about good conscience, not just political convenience. Professor Dershowitz, thank you. In The Price of Principle, if you read his new book, you'll see the fights that the professor has taken on and how often, when you go against the mainstream, you can run into trouble. But he is a man of conviction.
Keep doing great things.
I'll speak to you again, Professor. Take care.